All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday, May 4th. How about that? Great to see Robert. Great to see perhaps a few of us maybe rejoining us right now, coming off the Fed meeting here this Wednesday afternoon. Great to see Patrick and Grant as well. Hey, if you're joining us on social media, once again, Facebook Live or YouTube, welcome on back as well. And Nina joining us here too inside our live trading room. All right, nice. Let's jump right to it, folks. Right now, we're coming off the Fed meeting, as we all know at this point, as we all pretty much anticipated at this point. The Fed officially raised the interest rates by 50 basis points. So, you would have thought that we would have had a big drop off right away. That's not always the case. There seemed to be said vice versa, when they were kind of, slashing the rates a little while back, at least, you would have expected a big pop right out the gate from there. It wasn't the case. Markets dropped at first, then they kind of consolidated, then they took off. Well, here, at first, coming off the Fed meeting at 2 o'clock, we ended up seeing a bit of a pop at first. And even right now, prior to us beginning this meeting, it did seem as if the markets were going to make another retest of those highs, but ended up just coming back down now. So I'll tell you what, I am certain in the next, 30 minutes from now, we're going to find some better direction altogether here. If you're joining us again all together inside the live trading room or on social media here, I got a little competition at this time right now. I know that Powell's speaking here at 2:30 Eastern here, so that could always affect the market as we go. So right now, at least, we'll go across the gainers and losers list here in a bit. The RVSN stock just on the screen for right now, it's like really flat. It's trading 100 plus million shares at this time. It doesn't really trade a whole lot of volume day to day. It's a relatively new stock. So it was one from this morning that did pretty nicely for us. It was better pre-market trade. And then when the market did open, hey, it made a small little push up, but from there ended up just beginning to pull back from that point by 10 o'clock Eastern. And then, right now you could say it's trying to make that second win type of move, but normally that doesn't really happen. It doesn't really make that giant move that you would hope to see. So, hey, as we go, if this ends up making another pop for us, I wouldn't mind putting it on our list, but right now I'm not fully convinced of that happening just yet. All right, so with that, let's go right from top to bottom, folks. How am I in water? Oh, geez. All right, we're going to be efficient with time here. All right, let's see what we got. The CETXP. Try saying that name 3 times fast. Ended up making a big pop. I mean, at some point going into the morning and crashed back down. It's like kind of all over the place the last few days here. So not really too interested right now. It's got to prove itself to be a better trade for us. I skipped over SATLW. I feel like that's warrants, if I'm not mistaken. So just let me know otherwise. STSS, though, it's making a second win type of move itself here right now. You could see holding off support from 160, higher lows, pushing back up a little bit. Nice trade if you were able to get in from earlier. But right now, again, it's traded a lot of volume today. It was a nice push from earlier this afternoon or late morning, early afternoon. I'm not expecting a whole lot right now on this one either. I'll write it down. I'll come back to this at the end also, kind of like the RVSN trade. All right. Well, I think that we're starting to see a little direction here in the market. That could be subject to change. But if you're looking at the 5-minute chart, you could see the SPY and big drop. So, all right. Let's see what we got here. Otherwise, let's see. TMDX. I haven't checked this one out just yet till now. Just got bad order books. So that's the thing on that. I'm not too interested in that right there. ACON, nice little push from earlier today. It was more from like early pre-market than after the open, shortly afterwards. Took a little bit, but made a nice push. Again, I don't know what's going on with all these new IPOs that are cheap. I know Fausto made mention of that. If not this morning, then just earlier this week, we were talking about a couple of the others that came out recently, and they're like $3, $4, $5 IPOs. If they're not officially IPOs, they could be SPACs or whatever they're technically phrased as. They're just cheap stocks that don't have any historical data aside from what you're looking at there, right? So, is it easy for a stock like this to try and pop and break all-time highs? Yeah. Looks like it's trying to make a little push right now. A ton of yellow on the tape just coming in here on this ACON stock. I guess I'll come back to this one at the end also. So far, nothing on the main watch list here at this point, folks, right? Not a whole lot that we're really too interested in just yet. if anything, maybe just go right back to the main list, the AMD trade. Should the markets continue to drop off, that could be a good short. And I'm sure plenty of other stocks, like side list type of stocks. But man, I'll tell you what, not a whole lot of these from the gainer side here, like PRTS. We didn't really trade from earlier today. A little push after the open. It's tradable in the sense that it's trading, at decent volume per minute, but a lot of that's coming in pretty recently. So that number could drop off quite a bit, that 14,000+ share number that you see in white on the chart. But it's shortable. It could go the other, or it could drop down, and it could be an opportunity to follow there. But I don't know. Nothing really too particular about this one as well. Tell you what, if you had a decent morning, decent early afternoon up until right now, I'd say it might be a good day to kind of pack it in early. Chegg, nice push from earlier today, right? So, a little bit of a partial gap fill, ended up topping off right at that $20 level, as you would expect. I know one of our students, Chuck, killed it on this trade earlier today, got out at $19.95, if I'm not mistaken. I'd be much more interested in this. Out of everything that we've looked at so far, this one is the most volatile. I mean that in a good way, actually, for this one. A little bit of a spread, thin order book here and there, but I don't know. This one's more compelling to me compared to anything else that we've looked at so far. So Chegg we'll put back on our list. See if that 19 level gets retested. This is not the type of stock you want to follow. All right. Let's see what else is out there on the gainer side. Market's still kind of wonky here, like going back up, after the big drop back down. All right. I'll tell you what, BTTX I don't think we looked at, but otherwise, and Redbox too, but not much else that I really see from the gainer side that stands out. So, there's BTTX, not much happening there. Redbox, little push up right now, much closer to the highs here compared to a lot of stocks we've looked at so far. I'll give it that. It's one that we're more familiar with recently over the last however many days or weeks, right? So Redbox, yeah, all right, we'll put back on our list here. I don't know what's going on with all the yellow here once more here. Maybe reaction off of Powell speaking, and that could be the case across, pretty much, every stock that we're going to be looking at here. So, all right, let's hop on over to the loser side right now. Amarin, actually a stock that we are pretty familiar with inside our live trading room. This one took a huge hit today. Geez, ended up dropping off. I mean, sans pre-market ended up just, dropping off from roughly like 190-ish, 191. The high instantly after the open just dropped all the way down to sub 150. So with that, the question is, because this wasn't near all-time lows earlier, obviously. It's a lot closer now compared to earlier. Let's see, was it like 75 cents? Oh, no, it was even like 50 cents, 46 cents. It's still damn far away, technically. So, all right, would have been interesting if it was at all-time lows, but not right now, and it's not doing anything here for us. So, in the meantime, KZR dropped down more technically on the losers list. And hey, that's at the lows, shortable. It's actually showing a direction. Perfect. Why not, right? Now, I don't have Bookmap open for this type of stock just yet, or this stock, I should say, just yet, KZR. It's to say I would focus on your whole number levels. It seems a little choppy around 7 already, though. There is a 50K print that you could just clearly see on the tape, roughly under 699. So perhaps that could be someone covering a short, but with that, you got to look to see for more selling coming in under that price level in particular. So, if you start to see a lot of red coming in on the tape at 98, 98, 98, 97, 97, 96, and so forth. All right, that's a clue. That's something to consider for a continuation on the way down for this stock. All right, Tupperware in the meantime. Tupperware taking a bit of a hit here. There is a trend to it. Looks a little flat, but it is trending down pretty nicely off the highs. Order on the bid. There is a support level right there at 1175. There could be more otherwise. The stock is through the New York Stock Exchange. There could be other, volume on other ECNs or through the NYSE itself. But, right now, this one I'll put on our list here too as a possible short. All right, I took profits on this just earlier because I didn't want to be a jackass and like, after the Fed meeting and for me to be in a trade as it's like popping back up suddenly. But between AMD and between Lyft, and they're not relatable. I'm just saying between those two today, I mean, both came out news this morning. So, or from the after hours yesterday, but nonetheless, they made for some great short trades this morning, both AMD, which we'll get to, and Lyft. Lyft ended up just tanking as soon as the market opened up. So, right from there, obviously it was a great short, but it was even more heading into the early afternoon. I was calling it out off of 21 and 2092 in particular. It broke above that price, right? So I'm not expecting perfection on levels to hold flawlessly. If trading was, that easy, if we always saw that happen, I wouldn't be doing this afternoon broadcast, that's for sure. So, you have to wait for, the stars to align for your strategy. So if I'm going to short a stock, it's going to be directly after it breaks through a big level on the way down. So from there, once it slammed under 21 and 2092, that's where I ended up jumping in. It was a pretty simple short from that point. I ended up getting out above 2050, right at 2052. So, right now it's still chopping around, not really even looking that great here. I wish it was making a more volatile drop off or more volatile squeeze back up if that's what it's going to do. It's trading more volume today compared to the last 3 or 4 months, or at least on a day by day basis. So it could also be pretty exhausted, right? Down 33%, trading nearly 90 million shares by 2:45 in the afternoon Eastern. That's a lot. So that could be the reason why it's pretty choppy there. Just taking a look at Uber. Uber also following in sympathy going into the market open, with Lyft. So that was a nice short also. I didn't get my hands on Uber at least. Actually, I missed Uber. I took a loss on it from 27. It chopped around there too damn much. I'll show you right here. Right here. I was calling this out, looking for the short, and it stopped me out on 2 occasions. And then right here, it made the perfect drop without me. So can't catch them all, folks. But Uber also is a good play, at least from earlier. I don't know, not really too particular about it right now. It's down, near 8%. I was going to get to it probably here anyway. Let's see what else we got. So let's see, CLVS. I feel like that's a little too cheap. The RVLV stock, Revolve or Revlon, whatever. Revolve. All right. So it's got a thin order book, bit of a spread, so I'm not a fan of that. And it's also just like in a tight range here for a $34 stock coming off bad news. So, if it was much closer to the lows, yeah. But right now, pass. All right, let's see what else we got here to finish up the loser side. I'm probably going to need a little help from all of us here collectively on YouTube, Facebook Live, and for all of us live inside the Cyber Group room like Grant, Leda, etc. And now the market's pushing back up here a little bit. Look at that. Look at the SPY pushing right back on up right now. So volatile market here this afternoon, folks. Subject to change. I think I mentioned earlier. Market just snapped right back on up after that drop. So see, hey, maybe that could lead to a big pop. We'll see coming up here by 3 o'clock, I'd say. Let's see, not much else. Really, that's like a familiar name on the loser side. Lumber Liquidators, but it's like trading crap volume. Was that Red Rock Resort, RRR? Yeah. Paper thin order book on this one here too. All right. I'll tell you what. I want to jump to AMD. AMD is going to freeze up my screen though. So I'll do that as I sign off. But if you have AMD on your platform, you can quickly look at it. I have too much crap on my screen here on my computer that's running. It's going to freeze everything up, I can tell. So AMD is coming off earnings, right? And with that, let's just say if the markets do push back up into the close, AMD is at 95 bucks, and it's been retesting that level throughout the entire early afternoon. So that in its own right is a really good setup. So AMD, I'm going to slip on our watch list here again, just to put back on our list. Did I take a look at Jumia or Jumia? It's trying to squeak back up a little bit. I like the volume that's coming in on this stock after 2:30. That's for sure. For right now on the side list, but let's just see what else we got. Maybe I kind of add this just at the end. MRO going up, says Eric. This one's showing technically better direction, I feel. A little more expensive, but nonetheless, it's still within our price range. So MRO looks good. I just want to take a look at maybe some of the other oil stocks, maybe like an Oxy, which is even more expensive, but maybe that's looking even sharper. It seems like just like the oil stocks collectively could just be like a good tag to put on our watch list here. I think like the HUSA and INDO. I don't know if those are as affiliated with, the larger cap oil stocks like Oxy and MRO, maybe like an HAL Halliburton, maybe like an Apache APA. I could slip on there too, right? I know what those are. All right, so maybe the oil stocks I'll kind of just tag together. That doesn't seem too bad to do. Patrick saying the Acon stock, just looking inside the live trading room, that did push back up, right? So we saw Acon begin to squeeze up, and it's like, kind of holding there a little bit. It's right now I'm going to pass on it. I just feel like it's traded a lot of volume today compared to what it normally has. Hey, if it ends up popping any further from here, let's see. Might have me sold here in the next minute. If it looked like it was going to slump off, so I was going to write it off and just say, it didn't really seem that great. It seems like it could be exhausted. By the way, AMD just broke over 95, made a dollar move in just about like 2 minutes. I had a feeling that was going to be a good trade. You know what? This is hanging in there. Doesn't hurt us to put this on our watch list as well. Acon, the CLF. Cleveland Cliffs. So, more of a infrastructure, right? And CLF, I think they're on, I saw them on like Fox Biz yesterday, kind of being touted as, you know what, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to get it wrong. They're one of the largest steel, manufacturers for the electric vehicle companies. Is that it? Am I right with that, Bill? You would know. But nonetheless, nice little push here on CLF. Robert calling out SoFi right now. Let's see. SoFi. SoFi's up over 8%, and it's making a push up to the highs. I'll tell you what, this looks way better than anything else that we've looked at so far, and that's not to say everything else was bad. This just looks really good. I'm going to put this on the top of our list. How could I not? Incredible call out here. Hopefully there's a lot more to get from this trade. My NEO. So going back to the side list stocks, you knew I wouldn't finish up this meeting without looking at NEO. So that can make a pretty volatile push up. AMC, if we're looking at like the meme stock, short squeeze type of stocks that can go with the market in general, that also could be kind of decent. Let's see what we have from any one of us on YouTube or Facebook Live. Craig, there we go. From the start of the meeting there, I'm just looking at the chat right now. Craig W. wrote earlier on YouTube, "May the 4th be with you." Craig, if you were listening to me from the get-go there, I was like this close, and you can't see me. I don't have a webcam. I was this close to saying that, so probably pick that up. All right, so there we go. May the 4th be with all of us. EHTH. It's up like 20% right now. Squeezing back up a little bit. I think it's just traded too much volume for what it normally trades day to day. We trade stocks that trade more than 7.5 billion, but compared to what this does on a normal day-by-day basis, it's still like a lot, like 10 times the amount. So right now, I feel like this could just be more exhausted at this point. Vax going anywhere, asks Leda. Too spotty of a chart right now. I'll tell you what, folks. I think that we've looked at a lot so far. We've thrown a lot against the wall. The SoFi trade looks great. I like the oil stocks in general. Those look pretty strong all collectively. Michael says everything's moving up now at the SPY. It is, right? So, hey, you know me. I don't like putting out a big watch list. I'm prone to putting out a big watch list. So I don't want to. I want to kind of keep it simple. Right now, everything that we have on there so far still seems pretty strong. The STSS wrapping up from Dan on YouTube. Yeah, we were going to jump back to this one at least, right? We were going to jump back to this. The Acon we jumped back to already, that we kind of put back on our list. And then the RVSN. RVSN is garbage. This one's not going to go anywhere, it seems. The Acon we put on our list already. And then, you know what? That STSS looked good, Dan. We'll put that on the back end as well. Leda asks here to wrap up, did I ever get around to watching the Star Wars movies? I was never too hardcore of a Star Wars fan. I never got into Trek. So for anyone out there, I'm not a Trekkie, but I watched, the movies that came out over my childhood, and then I never ended up finishing up watching them or continuing to. And then from there, like even Mandalorian, I never got into, which is out on Disney Plus. I never got into, which I heard is great. Anyway, nonetheless, folks, we're not going to continue on Star Wars talk. But nonetheless, we have the Phase 3 class finishing up this afternoon. Fausto's in class prepping up right now. He just finished up a webinar, actually. But, if you want to join Phase 3, for all of us that are inside the live trading room, at least make sure that you click the link early. Click it right now so you're good to go on the audio and video side of things. And then aside from that, hey, we'll be back on the mic coming up very shortly for those of us that are not joining Fausto in class. For all of us in YouTube and Facebook Live, I don't think I did this part yesterday. Just caught myself there briefly. But I always like to post my email address here at the end of these streams. Any questions that you may have, or any questions, thoughts, comments, suggestions that you may have, feel more than free to let me know. Send it right on over to josh@ctutrading.com. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to do so. You could start at any point, so it doesn't have to be today or tomorrow. It could be next week. But go right down to the link on the yellow banner below the stream right there to get yourself started. But otherwise, again, for all of us inside the trading room now, we'll be back on the mic very shortly. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9.